Hey, welcome to Surface Time, Confessions of a Diving Junkie. There's something about the ocean. It somehow gets your happy hormones a-flowing, and it activates your sense of wonder, curiosity, and imagination. Today, on Episode 5, let's hear from Stephanie about the side effects that you may get from being in the ocean while scuba diving.
Let's talk about the side effects of scuba diving. Other than becoming a diving junkie, the one thing that I would name is to become more disciplined in staying organized. In some severe cases, one may even become OCD. So in scuba diving, know your equipment is paramount. Your equipment is your life, your baby. You have to know it not just by name, by function. You would know it. Like when it's the time to send your regulator or your dive computer in for overhaul maintenance, you will find the best way to clean your gear and maintain it well. If your loved ones are not divers, they are expected to tolerate your obsessions and passion. As your diving career progresses, you start to dive with more experienced divers, and you will get influenced by them as well, especially that you start to look at how they set themselves up and how you will want to get your setup very well trimmed so that you don't look like an underwater Christmas tree with bits and pieces hanging off you. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. So why would one go to such length? Well, in scuba diving, the thought of expect the unexpected will always sit at the back of our head, consciously or unconsciously. By being OCD about your setup, it is to increase your success rate as staying calm when the unexpected shows up. In other words, control. It is all about being in control of our mind, body, and spirit. And these are critical. Buoyancy controls skills are essential. It needs to be adjusted according to the water condition. When underwater, it is a constant goal that we can stay in neutral buoyancy. In fact, that's the sensation where you could feel like an astronaut. Physiologically, scuba diving helps to release happy hormones, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. When you're in the neutral buoyancy, you would actually feel that quite strongly. And neurologically, the sensation of being neutrally buoyant is a sweet spot when we are most relaxed and most focused at the same time. It's the same effect as being in meditation. Again, it's about self-control. In a way, we could say that scuba diving helped to train up our self-discipline, self-control, and resilience. And that impact stays with us when we return to land and in every aspect of our lives. My own leadership development has been a key focus in my career progression. And over the years, I've collected a fair numbers of inspiring quotes. Most of them are used as a quick burst of motivation, like this one. Don't argue with idiots because they will drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. And there are also quotes where that have become my mottos. So here's one that has stuck with me for a long time. It goes like this. To know others is intelligence. To know oneself is true wisdom. To master others is strength. To master oneself is true power. Now let's focus on master oneself. being able to master yourself is actually really relevant and important, especially when you're in the position with power of influence. And the impact of influence can be constructive or destructive. I remember one time I was sent to a regional office to do an integration project. Our project team's office is right next to the business team. Not a team that we interact with at all. However, it was almost a daily occurrence when we hear the team leader next door shouting at her team members. It was so loud that we could literally hear what she says. And there were also times we could hear objects being thrown at the wall, the shared partition wall. Although our path never crossed, her behaviors were so disturbing for me. I had to have quiet chat with HR department. Later, I found out that this team had highest attrition rate, and you can guess, poor financial performance. So that is an example of a leader asserting power of influence negatively because that leader fails to master himself or herself first. To master oneself is true power. It's such a simple and yet profound statement. In practice, the hardest to achieve. So come to think of it, what do you do to help yourself to stay in the state of joyfulness at all times? Just how much self-control would it take for you to achieve that state? So in my case, scuba diving has helped me to refine the ongoing practice of mastering myself, especially my busy, overthinking mind. I do have moments when I feel stressed, frustrated, irritated. What changes over time in me is that my self-awareness has heightened. So is my intuition. And I'm responding to challenging situations with more ease. In the sense that I would check myself into a calm place in my mind and in my spirit. In that dimension, I see the big picture, start to focus better, and gain clarity. Whether in my corporate executive role or as an intuitive leadership coach, I would make sure I bring that version of me to the space and being consciously aware of my power of influence. So here's an example to show you why staying calm and being in control are essential, especially when you want your power of influence to create a constructive impact. So one day I had a call from a client, and for ease of reference, I'm going to call her Emily. She calls me up, asks for an emergency session to gain some clarity. So here's the background story. So Emily took the leap of faith, left her senior leadership role in an international company. And then she set up her own consultancy practice. But the market situation is pretty volatile, so it hasn't been constant for her. And there was an amazing opportunities that's coming her way. The conversation that she's had with the company, the CEOs have been going very well. They even talked about compensation package in their last meeting. So she left that meeting feeling absolutely confident, certain that this is a done deal. They just need to get the paperwork done. So she gave her feedback to the headhunter, who then followed up. To their surprise, the company turned around and say, "We've not made a decision yet. We're still weighing and contemplating on another candidate." And this news was a blow to her mind, her pride, and her ego. As you can imagine, when I picked up the phone, she was already in the state where her mind was racing at 2,000 horsepower. Her heart rate was getting up, her blood pressure was getting up, and her sense of reasoning was going down. So I let her rant and vent and do her psychoanalysis, like speculating what would be her winning chances, what would be the decision-making factors, etc. Whilst all that was happening, I was in a calm place. I listened to her actively and also looking for an entry point where I could interject and disrupt her negative flow of thinking. At one point, I said, I can see you going around in your thinking in circles. And I can't see you identifying a way out or way forward. So let's take a couple of steps back and take some deep breath with me. And then I carry on saying that I can see that you're obviously disappointed because you had a high expectation. It's a job that you really are interested and get you excited, and you felt disappointed. And you were also right in listing all the analysis. They're valid. However, there were your perceptions of other people's perceptions of you and the other candidate and the situations. So in other words, you're working yourself up based on your imaginative scenario. Let's take a couple more steps back and continue with your deep breathing. Regulate your breathing. And now, let's move all of this off the table. Start with a blank canvas. Do you still want to stay in the game? I ask. Say yes. Say you want to stay in the game. What would be the next step you take? So what happened to Emily next is not the focus. So I'm going to stop here. I'm here to demonstrate to you the importance of staying calm, being in control, and to be able to assert the power of influence constructively. And just now, I was being a coach, and I was demonstrating a version of leadership style and how I assert my power influence. And in this case, the key components are staying calm, being in control of myself, cool as cucumber, listen to her actively, and then guide her to see things from a different perspective. I'm going to leave with you another inspiring leadership quote. This one is by Simon Sinek. Leadership is not about being in charge. It is about taking care of those in your charge. If you would like to enhance your power of influence and significant presence as a leader through coaching or through scuba diving, feel free to book me for a 30 minutes free consultation.
You know, I love that when facing with an unreasonable person, you just have to remind yourself not to argue back when you're in conflict, because other people can and will drag you down to their level. So try and stay calm and controlled. And remember to get your copy of the Confidence Builder worksheet to build those new muscle memories for help with self-control. Don't forget to tune in to the next episode, where we'll talk about how your negative emotions can disappear as soon as you are underwater. See you then.